What do we have for Aquarius, please? Lovers, Gemini energy at the foundation of the reading, Aquarius. What I'm getting here for all of you is an energy of alignment. I feel that a lot of you are really starting to accept that everything had to happen exactly the way it did, good and bad, to get you to where you are right now. For all of you Aquariuses that have been putting the work in, and you all know who you are really being put in this position to where you are going to become the star in your reality. And this is all in the astrology. We are entering into the age of Aquarius right now. And I feel because of this, you're really becoming much more stricter, let's just say, with your energy and who you allow in to your immediate environment. You're really setting the standard by which you are going to be navigating inside of this new timeline, this new beginning, this new level of the game. This Lovers is indicating very clearly that you have calibrated your feminine and masculine traits, polarities into perfect alignment, a perfect union. This Lovers at the foundation is representing you now being perfectly aligned with your higher self and your north node. Everything up until this point, Aqua, has been preparation for right now and where you are preparing to go moving forward. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. The world. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy at the sacral. This world is representing this cycle that you're closing out. It's as if in this very moment, you're on the threshold. You're standing on the edge. Behind you is everything you are preparing to leave. And in front of you is where you're preparing to navigate to. It's as if you're standing right on the edge of this portal, this doorway, energetically speaking. Perfect balance, perfect alignment. But there's something that I feel is trying to get into your head, Aqua. And this is actually a message I got before the reading. I wrote it down. What I wrote down was, the devil is trying to mess with you. The devil wants you to feel nostalgic and left out. So you self-sabotage and don't step into this new beginning. So here you are, right on the threshold. And maybe some memories come flooding back about a past cycle that you've closed out, trying to make you feel bad, trying to make you feel like you're missing something, trying to make you feel like you're not good enough. See, this is how the devil works. He uses your environment and the people in it that are essentially tentacles of him and his will for your life to try and get you to self-sabotage so you don't step into mission as a means to fulfill your destiny, which would be the divine getting a win against the devil within you and how you navigate your life path. You see, we're birthed into this simulation, this matrix that is very much controlled by the underworld. Every day is a test. Every day we're navigating this energetic maze. Whether it looks that way or not, each and every one of us is engaged in it. The temptation, the distraction is all around us. And as each year passes, it becomes stronger and stronger. But you are something different, Aqua. You've managed to navigate this path beautifully. You've overcome any obstacles and distractions that were put on your path. When you were knocked down, you got back up. When you were presented with negative projections from those that you thought cared for you and loved you, you loved yourself more and you kept pushing forward. And this is why you're being put into a leadership position in this new timeline. A lot of you Aquas are really going to become leaders of this new world by way of how you navigate your reality. Some of you could be inventing things. Some of you could be an inspiration to other people who need guidance, who need to be lifted up, who need a helping hand, who need a good role model. The possibilities are endless, and each one of you will be working in different sectors. You'll be spread out inside the collective, leading in different areas and helping us bring forth this new age. And it only makes sense. The age is yours. So you are hosting the party, so to speak. What do we have at the solar plexus? Four of Cups, Cancer energy at the solar plexus. And this is further reiterating what I said about the devil trying to make you feel left out. But as you can see here, you're sitting against this tree. you're not allowing these tactics to affect you. The more you're able to overcome these devilish tactics that may be showing up within the people around you, the clearer your path becomes for you. It's as if you shut out all the distractions and then a runway appears before you. The simulation, it affects our perception of reality. It can cause us to think that there's things there that aren't even real. It can take our focus off of what's most important. But the more you're able to stay connected with your higher self and overcome all these distractions, you start to see the truth. It's as if there's a spirit team that's always been around you, guiding you, that all of a sudden you're able to see with the naked eye. Right? And I'm getting that in this Four of Cups, with this divine white horse flying in. It's as if it starts to appear. Your guidance, your path, the runway, right? The more you're able to overcome the distractions. Now, this is obviously speaking on a much deeper, more profound, metaphorical kind of level here. But if you take a moment to really think about that, it makes sense. Because when you think about it in terms of ideas and higher guidance, you start to understand how this is possible. So by shutting out the distractions, your higher guidance comes through clearer, which allows you to make your way down your intended path because you are shutting out the distractions. There's an energy of you feeling more in control over your life now than you ever have. You feel more confident in areas where you once allowed other people's opinions to stop you in your tracks. See, and this is what a spiritual awakening encompasses. You start to understand that the immediate noise we have around us is meant to keep us from awakening to our fullest potential. You start to realize that your environment has been meticulously crafted to keep you boxed in, to keep you stuck, to keep you limited. Each and every one of us deals with this in our own way. Each and every one of us was birthed into this maze. But here you are, Aqua. You realize that the way out is by taking full control over your mind. That the way out is by going inwards. What do we have at the heart, please? Hierophant at the heart. The way out is by going inwards is exactly correct. Your connection with Source, with the divine, is so incredibly strong right now, Aqua. It's as if you can remove yourself from any sort of restriction in your life merely by closing your eyes, connecting with Source, and waiting for the downloads, which seemingly has a way of opening up a secret passage door within any sort of obstacles you may be challenged with in the here and now. And that really just speaks about how obedient you are to your intuition and your higher guidance. You're no longer second-guessing your moves, and this is why you're being put into this position that the divine is preparing to elevate you into. You have overcome the restrictions that the devil has placed in your life. And just to be clear here, when I speak about the devil, in the case of our reality in the here and now, I'm not really talking about one particular entity, let's just say, or demon from the underworld. I'm speaking about behavioral patterns and traits. You see, the devil is a mindset. It's a collection of behavioral patterns. Behavioral patterns that we pick up very easily by living inside of this simulation, inside of this matrix. These behavioral patterns have a way of possessing us, and it's not hard to see this all around us. Each one of these behavioral patterns works in an incremental fashion with the other behavioral patterns to keep you stuck. Now, if you want to get really technical about it, we could probably put all of these behavioral patterns underneath each one of the 7 deadly sins, which is this chakra system right here, flipped, twisted, out of balance. See, each chakra in its balanced state holds behavioral patterns, and there is a negative and a positive to that. So it's very easy for you to see that people in your life hold a lot of these behavioral patterns. And most people, no one really, will admit that this is all a part of the devil mindset, that the way they live their life falls under the umbrella of one of the 7 deadly sins. But if you take a step back and really start to analyze your environment, it's right there in front of you. When I went through my last major spiritual awakening, I became aware of this, and I started to look at how I was living my own life and how some of my own behavioral patterns fell under one of these 7, let's say, umbrellas. I started to look at my environment. all the people in it. And lo and behold, each and every person also held behavioral patterns that fell under one of these 7 umbrellas. The only difference between myself and those individuals was my awareness of this and my desire to break out of that. See, that is the matrix. When you have engaged in one of those 7 umbrellas, 7 deadly sins, they've got you. And those are the 7 ingredients by which our entire reality, especially in this day and age, is constructed. Because they know if they can keep you distracted inside of that illusion, that you will never align with your path and fulfill your destiny and complete your mission in this lifetime. When I started to awaken to this, I started to quickly break myself out of each one of these patterns ruthlessly. I didn't waste any time. It scared me. But I was very surprised by how other people in my life were reacting to that. None of them really cared. None of them had the desire to do the same. Made me feel very isolated, very alone. Why wouldn't people also want to break out of this conditioning? But I started to quickly realize that speaking to them about these subject matters was like speaking to a brick wall. They just didn't understand. They didn't get it. They didn't have the perspective that I had. This is really what a spiritual awakening is and can really be definitive of what people who are asleep inside the matrix truly means. You can present them with the newfound knowledge that you have stumbled across in an awakening, but it just doesn't quite compute. It goes in one ear and out the other. It was during this period of time I started to realize how powerful the simulation in the Matrix was. And quickly, I disengaged from that life I once lived. I never looked back. And I unfortunately had to cut myself out of all of those individuals' lives because once you awaken to this, there's no turning back. And it's impossible to try and accept these individuals into your life in that state of slumber that they're in. Well, they're essentially zombies, but we all come from that zombified state. But as time has gone on, I've started to realize that awakening is only reserved for a certain group of people. Most of you out there, probably all of you, have been the only person inside your family that has truly awakened. This is what a chosen person is, a black sheep, chain breaker. You're birthed into these families to be a living, breathing, talking, walking glitch inside their matrix. I've mentioned before that awakening is not something you do with a buddy or a friend. It's a path you take alone. But there does come a point when all of these individuals are given a choice. And the choice is usually presented to them by way of the divine using you as an example of what awakening is. What do we have at the throat? Wow. 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy. I don't know if there's a better card that I could have had come out following everything I just said. This is your rite of passage, Aqua. This is you moving on. There's also an emphasis here on inner child healing, right? It's like here you are and here's your inner child. It took healing your inner child or understanding that you need to heal your inner child to move on. And this can really speak about what I said. When you awaken inside of the matrix and you start to realize that there's behavioral patterns that you've been engaging in that fall under one of these 7 umbrellas, the 7 deadly sins, right? This is when you start healing your inner child, trying to understand why you ended up where you ended up. How did you pick up these behavioral patterns? How is it that no one before you, your parents, your family members, your friends, whoever, didn't recognize this before you? And it's usually amongst all of this that you realize that there's something much greater at play here, something that you yourself can't control. All you can control is how you move, how you show up, what you do. See, the hardest part about waking up is understanding that you have to break away from just about everyone you ever knew, because you start to realize that the connections you had, the love you had for these people and vice versa, isn't actually real. It's all based off of this standard of being asleep inside this simulation. It's fake. It's based off of a kind of sickness when you think about it. Every single person who hasn't gone through awakening yet is suffering with a form of sickness, spiritual illness. You're a part of a kind of hive. Aqua, you are the glitch, and this is why you're going to be positioned in this energy of influence because of your bravery, your courage to take this path. It's a form of death. I mean, once you step into this new timeline, the people that you once knew just seemingly no longer exist. They're not in your reality anymore. This is what timeline jumping is. You're in a different world. But it's so absolutely necessary to take this path because you start to understand that what you're leaving behind isn't even real. It is a simulation. And until you go through this awakening process, it's very hard to try and compartmentalize what the matrix, the simulation, being asleep is. I remember before I had my awakening, I was playing with these ideas. I was trying to compartmentalize it, but I just couldn't quite process it. But then, once I had that major awakening, it's as if I received a giant download and everything crystallized. It all made sense, or enough of it made sense, to at least start making my way forward toward the truth. What do we have at the third eye? Empress, Taurus, Libra, Venusian energy. And what's interesting here is, as you can see, the Empress is sitting watching this gate. The gate is open. I feel as though this is representative of your higher self. It's you coming into alignment, calibration with the truth. Here you are, leaving this old reality behind, making your way to the truth. I just heard back to purity. I feel like this is really speaking about what I said in regards to healing this inner child. And here we see two children here. It's as if everything is being brought into balance. This is a return to spiritual order. And also, it looks like that's a maze out there, right? It's like you're coming out of the maze. You're coming out of the matrix. Right there at the third eye. So this is speaking about a complete shift in your perception. You're no longer perceiving your reality the same. You still live here in the here and now, inside the matrix. We all need to be here, but we most definitely can be awake right in the middle of it. It's as if your mind, your perception is escaping the matrix, but your physical vessel is still here. And this is where you become a threat to the lie. Oh, I just heard. The devil sees you as something that is very dangerous and threatening to his agenda. Now think about how many of you Aquas are out there. All you awakened Aquas hold this kind of energy. And then you start thinking about the other zodiac signs who are going through similar, but in different sectors and different kinds of energy. You're all spread out across the planet like a web, breaking the system from the inside. You're like a virus inside the matrix. What do we have at the crown, please? Wow. Like a virus inside of the matrix. And what do we get? The magician. Gemini, Virgo energy. See how you have this crowd gathered around you, watching you, right? This is you realizing your potential, turning your visions into reality, the vision that the divine has given you, by which you live within inside your reality as a means to create awareness, hope, and awakening for the individuals that come in contact with you. You've also realized, Aqua, that the only thing that was ever holding you back was your environment, which makes it that much easier to keep pushing forward. Some of you could have been struggling for years trying to get on your path or find your way, step into your purpose, and then almost overnight, it's as if this all shifts as soon as you awaken to the fact that it's your environment that's been holding you back. The people, the places, the things, the behavioral patterns, right? Big and small. Some of these behavioral patterns are so small they fly off the radar. But then lo and behold, you break out of them and you shift. Some of the minute details is what I'm talking about here. They all matter when it comes to shifting into a space of a full awakening. What do we have at the foundation? Oh. Wow. Magician, Baphomet again. So we got Magician back to back, but this is the negative polarity. So I got a similar energy for the Taurus reading. There was very much a message of light and dark, and I'm seeing it again here now. Here you are, realizing your potential, right? Stepping into this position, becoming this leader of the new world. And then here you are stuck. This is an energy of unfulfilled potential. Baphomet. Here I was talking about the devil being a mindset, and we get Baphomet at the foundation of the reading, right underneath you aligning. So now we're seeing very clearly that everything I'm saying here is correct. This is representing the behavioral patterns, the mindsets, the people, the places, the things, the matrix. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. Empress, Gremory. So it's as if we're going backwards. Magician, Empress. Magician, Empress. Unbelievable. So the polar opposite energy is what we're getting here. This is Empress in its shadow polarity. This is you feeling completely blocked creatively, blocked on your path. It's an energy of feeling insecure, which is a byproduct of your environment, of one of those 7 umbrellas. I keep hearing manipulation as well. Both of these cards represent that. And I'm getting this overactive sacral chakra, which is a very manipulative energy. So I feel that this is speaking about your environment, the influence you had around you. There's something there. It's as if you had people in your ear, could even be one person, that were holding you back, injecting some sort of self-doubt into you, planting little seeds of self-doubt. I just heard the devil whispering in your ear. See, remember, where you're coming from, the people that were in your environment were all extensions of the underworld to keep you stuck inside the maze, right? This is you stuck inside the maze. This is you not in this leadership position here. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Lovers, Zepar, wow. Lovers, lovers, magician, magician, empress, empress. Again, these are all the negative polarities of these. When I get this kind of energy, what we're seeing very clearly is what your actual path and your destiny was being attacked with the polar opposite energy. This Lovers right here is an energy of imbalance. It's an energy of misalignment, whereas this is an energy of alignment, calibration. This is telling me very clearly that the ones that were being used to hold you back, whether it's people, behavioral patterns, whatever it is, it's usually a combination of things, knew exactly where you were going. And if it was your own behavioral patterns that were also holding you back, this is also you knowing on a gut level where you're supposed to be going and what you're supposed to be doing. That thing calling you from within just won't let you go. But it seems like there's obstacle after obstacle piled up in front of you, like you can't get to it. So you start to think, oh, well, maybe it's just not for me. But not in this case, Aqua. That was the plan, to make you think it wasn't for you, by putting this amount of restriction on your path. What do we have at the heart? Unbelievable. Hierophant. Hierophant. Arias. This is Hierophant in its negative polarity. And this is a very dark energy and godless energy. Theft and destruction, right? The theft of your mission, the theft of your purpose, and the destruction of your destiny. This could very well be perceived as God and the devil right here. Complete polar opposite energies. Not to mention all these other cards here. All of these cards here are opposites of cards we have on the top row. This Hierophant here is representing the restriction you're breaking out of. It can be seen as a kind of rebellion. You're rebelling against the behavioral patterns, which, I can go so deep here, but those are all things you picked up on your path from your family members. That's generational karma. I also spoke about this in the Taurus reading. There's a lot of similarities here. You may want to listen to that reading as well, if you're feeling called to. I feel that they are working in tandem here. It makes sense, though. You and Taurus are both fixed signs. But whatever the case, Knight of Swords, Hariel, intellectual richness. This Knight of Swords and the Six of Swords is giving me a very similar energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. It's as if this Knight of Swords is the next logical step from the Six of Swords. Here you are transitioning, moving on. rite of passage energy. And this Knight of Swords is the resulting action. It's a lifestyle change. It's very action-oriented. You understand enough of what's been taking place here. You understand enough of the conspiracy, and you're on your way. What do we have at the throat, please? Justice. Kal-El. Libra energy at the throat. The invocable God. Makes truth known in court, causes innocence to prevail. Spiritual court. This is what this is all about. A balancing is being brought into your life, Aqua. You overcoming this matrix of your life is putting you in the driver's seat of your life. One that you never even knew you weren't sitting in until you crossed this threshold. That's also one of the harsh realizations of awakening, is realizing that up until that moment of awakening, that moment that you stepped through that portal, you weren't really truly in control of your life because you were mainlined to the lie, to the illusion. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow, the Tower, Uriel. Aries, Scorpio, Mars energy, the fire of God, disruption, warns of disasters, aids in transformation. And what I just said about you realizing that you weren't in the driver's seat of your life, this is you understanding this now, getting the memo. You're like, oh my God, how could this be? It's like you awaken to this whole new world, this whole new reality. Your perception is no longer the same. All the colors are more vibrant. Your connection to Source and the Divine is uninterrupted. It's as if a layer of fog has been removed from your life. It's as if a filter has been removed from your life. Like you've been living up until this very moment with a kind of filter over your entire perception. This can be seen as the veil being lifted. You see things in a way now, and there's just no way you can ever go back. There's been a complete destruction to how you once perceived your reality. This is a revelation. This is you waking up. What do we have at the crown to close out for Aqua? Too many cards. What do we have at the crown to close out for Aqua, please? Oh, wow. Hangman, Pisces energy. Nichelle, the only God. Desire for knowledge, protects from liars, evil, spells, and bad spirits. And this is the card of perception, like I just said. This is you having this perspective shift. We just spoke this card into existence. This is you letting go of this restrictive energy that was keeping you engaged in the lie, in the illusion. And this is all because you had a desire for more. You knew that there was truth out there, so you went looking for it, which sent a kind of distress signal out to the universe. And so the universe amplified that back into your life and showed you exactly what you went on a search looking for. And the rest is history. Be careful what you ask for, because the universe just might give it to you. Aqua, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Aqua. Take care.